back to 2013, gave 2 concurrent sessions. A lot of farmers are concerned about the price of land right now. They're not sure if they should rent, they should buy. What are some of the factors that are going into whether or not they can afford the land?
Okay, well, what I was looking at is some metrics over the last year, saying, land's always been too expensive. It always has been, but people still buy it. So how can we look at it? The best thing, I'm an accountant, so what I like to do is look historically to see how it has in the past, then go forward. So what I did is in 1981, you'll get a kick out of this, Sean. I bought my first quarter because they weren't making any more of it, but it was at 15% interest, right? $1,000 an acre. So when you look at that, is interesting, the land payment compared to cash rent. I was trying to convert cash rent to land payments as a metric to see how expensive land is. Well, back then in 81, it was 4.75 times cash rent to make the payment. So if cash rent was 30, my land payment was roughly 150 an acre. The disgusting part, gross revenue was 140. So my gross revenue wasn't even high enough to make the land payment. So now that is a bubble. That's huge. That's crazy.
Are we there now?
No. That's what the good part is. So then you go to 93, 96 in Olds, and land dropped to $600 an acre. Interest rates were down to about 11. And the cash rent required to make the annual payment, I'll make that clear, it's cash rent to annual payment, was only 1.98. So that would have been an absolutely perfect time to buy land because everybody thought grain farming was never going to turn. There was terrible prices. Why would you want to farm, right? So now we're track forward to 2012 in the Olds area. Land's $3,000 an acre. The thing you got to remember is at 5% interest for 20 years, which you can get from AFSC, financing from the province. That factor works out to $240 acre payment on 3,000 acre land. Cash rent's roughly 80, so it's 3 times cash rent now. So we're reaching a threshold, which I'm saying is that at 3 times cash rent, I think it's still affordable. We're not used to paying $3,000, but it's still, as you look at it, repayment ability to purchase price, it's pretty good. But the main thing, Sean, is back in 81, when you looked at buying it back then with those high interest rates, you had $1,000 acre land had to grow to $3,160 to pay the interest. Now today, I'm not trying to make a bubble here, but today your interest carrying costs are only 60%.
Yeah.
So if you bought $3,000 acre land, correct? If it goes up by 60% in 20 years, not using net present value, you've got your total cash costs, carrying costs back to the land. So as strictly as an investor, do you think land will go up 60% in 20 years? If it does, you'll get back your interest investment. Now, of course, when you look at this cash rent to land payments, what's kind of neat about it is, the way I worked with this young family east of Didsbury, decided to buy a half, and they did, was to look at saying, can you afford 3 acres of owned land rent? Like pay yourself $80 an acre on 3 acres, well now you got your 240.
Yeah.
Right? So it goes back, the old farmers will say, well, all this mathematical crap good, all it really boils down is you got to have 3 acres paid for to buy one.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, the trouble is that 2 things I hear from a lot of people is it can't keep going higher, or, geez, whatever happens if interest rates go up.
Okay, I'll discuss that. If interest rates, what's interesting about interest rates right now in the macro economy, and this is why it's important not to panic on this land. First of all, buy good land. Sean, if you're looking at this right now and somebody offers you a quarter section, it's only 130 acres, right, and he still wants the 3,000 acre based on 160, I'm saying 3,000 per cultivated acre in Olds, not just 3,000 times 160. So buy good land, that's really important right now, because if it's poor land, don't go into debt for it. Number 2 is interest rates are not going up fast, so you don't have to panic to say, oh, I got to buy it today because if I don't buy this one today, the interest rate's going to jump too fast. And I can show you right now, based on the macroeconomics, they're talking this stuff. Even the Bank of Canada is now talking for 2 years, probably flat rates. So there's not a real huge panic to go after it. But the main thing is, can you cash flow it based on 2 to 3 acres to subsidize 1? If you're already maxed out and you have no room for risk, then you're kind of in a pickle. Because
is there a good divide between people that are uber bullish on land prices, people that are sort of, I'm not sure what to do, they're sort of frozen paralysis by analysis, and there's others that are
just walking away?
It's going down, I'm not buying anything.
Yeah. I would say right now, that kind of sentiment kind of follows the stock market. You got bulls, bears, and neutral, right? You know,
bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what you'll find on the same situation, it really depends on how competitive the area is. Now, what's really interesting, you'll find this for people east of number 2, land prices have accelerated, probably 30% in the last year and a half to 2 years, where west of 22, it's went down 25% from the high of 207. That's because west of the highway, the speculative land values were caused by Calgary or Edmonton or Red Deer expanding, people moving and buying land. Now it's the grain bulge that's putting people to buy this land, right? Because land rent's getting so high, sometimes they're figuring, well, I might as well buy the damn stuff instead of paying the landlord $100, right? Or 90. So sure, it's all over the map, but I do believe the best thing to look at is if it's good property. And the third thing is when you get to buy good land. I told the young family east of Didsbury, I said, we'll do this on one condition. If some of the things don't work, and I don't have time to explain all the operating lines, but if it doesn't work, put some poor land up for sale. If you step out and bought, let's say, a quarter section for $500,000 today, Sean, you got a quarter that you know you could sell for $400,000. If you discipline yourself to say, if things start to get a little bit nervous, right? If I feel that I'm not doing it, if you drop your $400,000 quarter even down to $3 to move it, you've got really good land for $200,000.